Sai Ram students, welcome to the third session of chapter 3 Properties of Natural Resources. Now today we are going to see about the properties of water. But before going to the properties of water, let's revise what we had learnt in the last session. So children, in the last session we were discussing about the properties of air. So we discussed why do we feel the breeze or the winds blowing. Then we saw about why the outer surface of the glass water gets collected. Right children? So after that we saw about the level of humidity. Then we saw about the scattering of light. And then about the temperature regulation and the transmission of sound. So let's move to today's part, that is properties of water. So children, can you see the picture over here? A ball is there and some small holes are there, and from that the water is coming out. Similarly here also there is a can and water is coming out from these small holes. Right children? So let's see. Normally water, it is found in the liquid form, right? So it's a fluid substance. Fluid substance means it can easily flow, or a substance which does not have its own shape. So water, it does not have its own shape but has a volume. So normally children, we find water in the liquid form and it's a fluid substance. It does not have its own shape but it has got a volume. It can pass through small holes or seep through very small gaps or cracks. So water which is there, it can pass through small holes. The picture which I showed you about the ball, so through small holes water can pass through or seep through very small gaps or cracks. Children, you might have seen generally in the rainy season, the wall, it becomes wet. So what happens? There are some cracks on the wall. So water, it enters into these cracks, and that's the reason the wall, it becomes wet. When you pour water in a dish with oil, water does not spread but it forms small round drops. Right children? In your textbook it is given as oil cladded dish. Means the dish, it is coated with oil. So when you pour water into it, water, it does not mix with oil but it forms small round drops. So water, it can pass through small holes or it can seep through very small gaps or cracks. And when you pour water in a dish with oil, water, it does not spread but it forms small round drops. Now here you can see children, a bucket is there containing water and some articles have been put into it. So you can see here there is a sharpener, pencil, scale, and down you can see eraser, spoon and your compass, right? So now some things are floating on the water and some are sinked in the water. So let's see what are these articles. So the pencil, the sharpener and the scale, these are the articles which whose density is less. So that's the reason they are floating on the water. Whereas the eraser, the spoon and the compass, their density is more, and that's the reason it gets sinked in the water. You can also try this experiment at home children. Ice, it is lighter than water. So when water, it freezes to form the ice, it becomes lighter than the original liquid. Original liquid means originally it was water, right? Then it became ice. So when it becomes ice, it becomes lighter than the original water. And then when water, it freezes to ice, it transforms into the solid state. So water was in the liquid state, when it became an ice cube, it has become transformed into a solid state. So its volume increases. That's the reason the density of the ice, it is less than that of the water, and that's why ice, it floats on water. So why the ice floats on water? Because the density of the ice, it is less than the water. So water, when it freezes to form the ice, it becomes lighter. Ice is lighter and it becomes lighter than the original form of the liquid water. So water, when it freezes, it transforms into the solid state. Means ice has become a solid state. So its volume increases. So density of the ice, it is less than that of the water. And that's the reason ice, it floats on water. So we'll see about the density of water. What is the relation between the volume and the mass of the substance? The space occupied by a substance is its volume, and the store of the matter in a substance is its mass. So that's the reason density is equal to mass upon volume. This is the formula of density, right children? So space occupied by a substance is its volume, and the store of the matter in a substance is its mass. So that's the reason the formula of density is mass upon volume. So mass, it is measured in grams, and volume, it is measured in cubic centimeters. So your density will become gram upon cubic centimeter. You can see this gram upon cubic centimeter. So gram is nothing but it is about your mass, and cc, cubic centimeter, is about your volume. So unit of density, you can write it as gram per centimeter cube. So mass, it is measured in grams, and volume, it is measured in cubic centimeter. So that's the reason density is equal to gram upon cubic centimeter. So the unit of density will be gram per centimeter cube. Now, if the mass of 1 liter of water is 1 kilogram, then what is the density of the water? Right children? What is the mass of 1 liter of water? It is 1 kilogram. So you have to find out the density of the water. So what is the formula? Density is equal to mass upon volume. Now what is mass? Mass is your 1 kilogram. So 1 kilogram is equal to 1000 gram. And what is the volume? Volume is 1 liter, right? So 1 liter means it is 1000 ml. So now you will say that this is gram per centimeter cube. So generally whatever liquid it is there, it is measured in milliliter, and the solid substances which are there, that is measured in cubic centimeter. So that's the reason milliliter and cubic centimeter, their conversion will be the same. So density is equal to 1000 upon 1000. So 1000 ones are 1000. So density of the water, it will be 1 gram per centimeter cube. So I hope students, you are understanding. What is the question? If the mass of 1 liter of water is 1 kilogram, then what is the density of the water? So you have to find out density of water. Mass and the volume is already given. So what is mass? 1 kilogram. So 1 kilogram means 1000 gram. And what is the volume? 1 liter. 1 liter means 1000 ml, right? So density is equal to 1000 upon 1000. So the density of the water will be 1 gram per centimeter cube. Let's move to the next part. What is the anomalous behavior of water? Usually when the temperature of the substance is lowered, its density increases as the volume decreases. But water, has got an exception. So whenever the temperature of the substance it is lowered, its density increases and volume decreases. So but water, it has got an exception. So this you can see the anomalous behavior of water. So water, when it is at normal temperature, it starts cooling. So that means its density is increasing. So the density of the water, it is maximum at 4 degrees centigrade. If the temperature of the water is lowered below 4 degrees centigrade, its density decreases and the volume, it increases. So what happens? The water, when you keep it at normal temperature, it starts cooling. That means its density increases. So the water's density, it is maximum at 4 degrees centigrade. And when the temperature of the water, it is lowered at below 4 degrees centigrade, so what happens? The density decreases and the volume increases. So it means water expands when the temperature falls below 4 degrees centigrade. So this is called as anomalous behavior of water. So why it is called anomalous behavior of water? That means water, it expands when the temperature it falls below 4 degrees centigrade. Now children, you can take a bottle and fill it with water. More than half of the bottle you are going to fill it with water. Now you mark the level of the water on the bottle. Now you keep it in the freezer for around 5 to 6 hours. So after 5 to 6 hours, when you keep it in the freezer, you remove it out and you again mark the level of the water, level of the ice. Right children? Now you observe the level of the water which was marked and the level of the ice which was marked. So what happens? The level has increased. So that means the ice, where after becoming ice, it got expanded. Right children? So the level of the water, it increased when it got freeze. So that is what is called as anomalous behavior of water. When you freeze it, the water expands. Here you can see, here there are 2 buckets of water, right? So what you are going to do, in 2 separate buckets you are going to take water, right? Now in one, water will be plain and in the other bucket of water you will add some 4 to 6 drops of salt to it, right? Now you will take a potato and potato you will drop it in the first bucket of water. This is your first bucket of water. You will drop it. So that water does not contain salt. So what will happen? The potato, it will sink in the water. Now in your second bucket of water, what you have done? You have added some salt to it. So what will happen? The potato, it will float on it. So what has happened? The potato is floating on water because the density of the water has increased because salt has been added to it, and that's the reason the potato, it floats on the water when salt is added. So children, what did we discuss? We saw that we took 2 buckets of water. One bucket of water was containing only water, whereas the second bucket, it was containing salt plus water. So your first bucket, which was not containing salt, the potato, it got sinked into the water, whereas in the second bucket of water, when you added salt, the potato is floating in the water. So why did this happen? It happened because of the increased density. Density has been increased because salt has been added to water. Right children? So let's move to the next part. What is a solute, solvent and solution? Now solute means the substance that dissolves, that is called as a solute, and the example is salt. So the salt, it gets dissolved in water. Salt is a substance which gets dissolved in water. That's why it is called as a solute. What is a solvent? The substance in which the solute dissolves, that is called as a solvent, and that is water. The substance, that is the salt, when you dissolve it in water, it is called as a solvent. And what is a solution? What we get when the solute dissolves in the solvent. So when water plus salt, it is added and it gets dissolved, that is called as a solution. So what we get when the solute dissolves in the solvent, that is called as a solution. So let's move to the next part. Uses of water according to the properties. Now water, water is useful to us in many ways. It is useful for transport because of the fluidity, means it can be it flows easily. So water, it is used for transport. And water, when it falls down from a greater height, electricity can be generated with the help of a generator, right? So water, because of its fluidity, it can be transported from one place to the other. And water, when it falls from a greater height, it can be used to generate electricity with the help of a generator. Now water, it is also a good coolant, means it cools down. So it is used in the motor vehicles to control the temperature of the engine. Generally, when the temperature of the engine, it becomes high, so that time water is added to it so that it cools down. So that's the reason it is called as a good coolant. Universal solvent. Why it is called as a universal solvent? Because many of the substances, they are soluble in water. So that's the reason it is called as a universal solvent. So it is used as a solvent in the factories, laboratories, foodstuffs, and various types of biological processes occurring in the body, such as digestion, excretion, etc. Also, water is used for cleaning purposes such as bathing and washing clothes, right? Every day we use water for a lot of purposes, for cooking food, for cleaning the utensils, cleaning our clothes, for washing purpose, for bathing, right? And water, it is called as a universal solvent because many substances, they are soluble in water, and that's why it is used as a solvent in factories, laboratories, foodstuffs, and in the biological processes such as digestion and excretion. So this was what about the properties of water. So let's recap, children, what we have learned today. First, we saw about the properties of water, that water normally you see it in the liquid form and it is a fluid substance. So because of that, because of the fluidity, it has got no shape, but it has got volume. Then we saw about some articles which float on water and some which sink in water. So when the density is less of the substance or the article, it floats on water, and when the density is more, it gets sinked in the water, right? So after that, we saw about why ice is lighter than water. So why is it so? Because the density of the ice is less than that of the water, right? So that's the reason the ice, it floats on water. Ice is lighter than water, and it when water it freezes, it transforms into the solid state and its volume increases. So we talked about the bottle. When it is in the water form, we noted the volume of it, the level of the water, and then we kept it in the refrigerator, and when we took it out, when it got converted into ice, that time we noted the level of the ice and we saw that the volume increases, that the ice, it gets expanded. Then we saw about the anomalous behavior of water, that the water, it expands below 4 degrees centigrade, right? So when the temperature, it falls down, the density increases and the volume increases. Then we saw about the potato, wherein we had taken 2 buckets of water. One was containing plain water and the other was containing salt plus water. So we saw when salt was added to water, the potato, it floated in the water, whereas in the simple plain water, it got sinked. So we saw about the that means when salt was added to the water, the density increased, right? So after that, we saw about the solution, solvent and the solute. So the substance that dissolves is called as a solute. The substance in which the solute dissolves, that is called as a solvent. And when we get the solute, uh, what we get when the solute dissolves in the solvent, that is called as a solution. Then we saw about the uses of water, how water is useful. It is useful for transport because of its fluidity. Then it is used in for generation of electricity. Then it is a good coolant, and that's why it is used in the motor vehicles. Then we saw that why water is called as a universal solvent, because many substances, it dissolves in water, and that's the reason it is used in factories, laboratories and foodstuffs and various biological processes. Then we saw that it is useful for cleaning purposes. So right children, so I hope you have understood about the properties of water. So in the next session, we'll discuss about the properties of soil. There's a link given for the worksheet. Children, try to please solve them. It is based on the today's session only. Till then, take care. Meet you in the next session. Goodbye.